best possible loadout for under $300 in CS2. This is not a full inventory haul because when you are on a budget, you don't have time to be wasting money on dual pistols or a revolver or something like that. You need to get down to the brass tacks, and that's what we're going to do right now. Now, when you're building your loadout, it's preference, right? It's the guns you use the most where you're putting the most of your money. But I think we can all agree the USPS is the best pistol. So you want to put a decent chunk of whatever budget you're working with into it. I went with 10%. And I went with the Royal Guard in factory new for $28. This is hands down the best USPS skin under $100, and it's only $30. There were a couple bright green, bright pink, graffiti, dirty skins where if you like that kind of thing, but this is a very solid choice, and there is a charm that goes with it quite nicely. I want to show you right now. Now this is what it looks like from first person. If you want to get this exact blue, you need to find the correct pattern. Flipping through the Steam market, it's around 80,000. It'll only take like 30 or 40 seconds to find, and they're not really in high demand. So yeah, $2 plus the USPS Royal Guard adds up to 30. Now let's move on. For the Glock, you have a bunch of different ways to go about it. You have the StatTrak Winterized for 40 cents. Decent looking Glock. It's a very good deal. Then you have a pretty unique option, the Ocean Topo at 75 cents. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but this is another blue and silver design where it's like glossy and clean looking for under $1. So yeah, there's a lot of different options for the Glock. Another two are the Moonrise and Royal Legion. That's 4 solid picks, but the one I'm going to be choosing is one I think is the greatest piece of artwork I've seen in modern CSGO history for dirt cheap. The Green Line in factory new. A fascinating case where the artwork comes to life in 3D form, since the shape of the Glock and the train are the same. And it's a piece like I haven't seen something like this before. I don't know if you guys could let me know if there's anything else like this. I see this being worth hundreds of dollars in the future. If you look at the top Glock skins, they're pieces of art, but none of them are like this. So definitely an easy cop, and let's move on. For the MAC-10, it's very simple. You either get the Derailment, which looks like this, or the StatTrak in factory new. Now the reason I say you only want to buy one of these two is simple. You don't get this value anywhere else in this price range. One other sleeper pick I actually own, which is the Lightbox. This is like 25 cents, and it's the only skin in the game with this design right here. Matte black, purple, silver, pretty clean, but I'd go with the Derailment personally. I also own that. That's a new skin as well. Yeah, very clean. Anytime a Mac has designs on the clip, you know it's quality, so yeah. I'll touch on the shotguns briefly. I don't think you should spend that much on shotties. I don't use them that much personally. Also because there's not the greatest skins, but this is a very nice one. The Watchdog in factory new at $6.30. Another one at this price range is the StatTrak Incinerator at, once again, only $6. Out of the two, I recommend the Watchdog. You have this very nice copper design artwork coming out with the green backtone, almost emerald, which is the reason I'm favoring this one. You want to buy this to keep in mind your inventory success knows no bounds, and in the future you are going to have that butterfly emerald or karambit #1 low float emerald in your inventory. Moving on to the M4A1, we have the Black Lotus in Minwear. This might just be the best skin of all time for value and looks. Everything about it looks factory new, even in Minwear. There's little subtle things like on the suppressor you have pink text, little pink accents throughout the gun. The trigger is pink. It is a very well done skin for only $16. It's pretty much a no-brainer. So yeah, let's move on. Now for the AK, it gets a little more complicated. It's a more valued skin, so you're not getting as much good value deals. One that's an obvious choice is just the Slate. It's a simple skin, matte black with some gloss to it, nothing crazy going on, and then it's great for stickers and any charms. But the AK that's even better looking and an even better deal is the Legion of Anubis Minwear for only $11.50, and it's a red. Absolutely insane. Like when you look at this thing, nobody in their right mind would ever say that's $11.50. This looks like a $200 AK. And like I said before, When you see designs on the clip like this, dude, you know you're getting an absolute steal. I would actually maybe even say you could buy factory new, but you don't need it. Oh, maybe you do need it. I looked in factory new, you still have scuffing in the same exact spots on the barrel here, on the end, and on the back. So might as well just get the menwear because it's the exact same. $12 menwear, red, insane detail. You could probably look at it for 5 minutes and still find new things. I didn't see this eye before. That's how you know it's really well done. Wanted to lay out a couple different options before we head forward. Firstly, we've only spent $75 so far. And I'm going to include a knife in this list. But if you don't like the knife, I'm going to also throw out different options for more expensive ARs and other things like the op that if you don't want to buy the particular knife I suggest, you could do instead. So, yeah. Now for the knife, if you watched my first video on the top 5 budget knives, you know what I'm gonna say. But before that, I did want to quickly just say thank you guys for the support on the first video. I set a like goal of 5 and we're sitting at 25 right now, which I don't know if mine counts, but we're just gonna say it does, and 14 subs. So thank you to those who also commented. Didn't expect that for my first video. Absolutely incredible. But let's get back to the knife. Now really the only good knife you could pull off around this budget is the StatTrak Navaja Blue Steel in menwear at $168. It is an acquired taste. Me personally, I love this knife and I appreciate that it's StatTrak, but I'm going to throw out a couple different gun picks that you could look at if you don't want to get this knife. I don't recommend looking for any other knife in this price range because it's just not going to be good. But if you were to go with that knife and you're following this budget loadout completely, you now have $57 left to play with to buy your op. And for the op, I never recommend anything but factory new or StatTrak factory new because the smallest imperfection will show on a menwear, unlike other skins where you could get away with it. I'll show you a couple examples. With the way they designed the op skin, you will never see a menwear that looks one-to-one of the factory new. For me, the op should be the second most expensive thing in any budget you're working with. And because of that, you don't want to cheap out and get the menwear version. Also, that's not going to maintain the value as good as factory new. Around the $57 mark, you have the StatTrak Exoskeleton. It's another one of those 3D designs. You don't see that often, so definitely a very cool skin. You also have the Elite build at $50. Looks pretty clean with the orange accents, but for me, an op needs to be a little bit more colorful than this. My official pick for this list is going to be the StatTrak Atheris in factory new at $57, closing us out for this loadout. And these are what the final numbers are looking like. The majority going to the knife, op, and USPS. And for including the knife, this is pretty much as good as it's gonna get. I spent a lot of time looking through different skins at different price points to squeeze the most amount of value out, and this is the best you could possibly make. But now we're gonna look at some alternative options if you didn't want to include the knife in this $300 loadout. Now if you're an AK guy and you're looking to drop a lot more, you could go with the Empress menwear for $80, or the one I recommend, the Asimov for $76. Now the reason I go with this one is because it has a lot of white and you don't often see that in the AK. Because of that, and then also the orange and black, it's a very nice colorway. I would go with this one over the Empress. The Glock was one of the cheapest options that I put in this budget. So if you didn't get the knife, I would circle back to the Glock and go with something like this right here, the Shinobu factory new, $30. And if you are using the M4A4, I recommend the Neo Noir factory new at $58. Definitely the best looking Neo Noir because you have this full body design on the handle and magazine. One of the better designs for the M4A4. The last alternative I will suggest is for the M4A1. If you don't want the Black Lotus, I suggest the control panel and factory new at $50. For me, it just sets itself apart because it's 3D, very unique design. And this is the last alternative pick if you didn't go with the knife loadout. So yeah, that is it for the video. If you did enjoy, I would appreciate if you dropped a like. I'm going to set the like goal to 6. Also, comment if you had any better picks I might have missed, or any future video ideas, or just questions in general. And if you want to see more like this, consider subscribing. But thank you for watching and have a good one. Peace out.